5.4, completing the square. Example 1, solving equations by using the square root. Okay, so we're going to have two types of equations here. We're going to have some where there's just an x squared, and then we're going to have some that have an x squared and an x. Okay, so on the ones with just an x squared, solve for x squared. So that means get the x squared on one side and everything else to the other. So we need to keep this 3x squared here and move this negative 4. We're going to move the negative 4 by 2ing plus 4. So we're going to get 3x squared equals 72. Then we're going to move that 3, and we move the 3 by dividing by 3. So x squared equals 24. Now, to get rid of the squared, we have to do what we call a square root. So next up is square root, take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of each side. X equals, and it's always going to have a plus or minus. Now to finish that, we got to go think back to earlier in the year. 24 breaks down to 6 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 2. Remember to find your pairs and your singles. Pairs go outside, so 2 square root, 2 times 3 is 6. Now, for B, same thing here. It's just an x squared, so solve for our x squared. We're going to add our 20. So we need to divide by 4. Then we have to get rid of our x squared by taking the square root. So x equals plus or minus. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 4 is 2. Now C and D, they both have an x squared and an x. So on these problems, our goal is to factor. That's the first thing we need to do. So how do we factor this? A lot of these will be perfect squares. Well, they should be because it'll make it easier. So square root of x squared is just x. Keep this sign. Square root of 25 is 5 squared. Let's check and make sure that's right. 1 times 5 is 5 times 2 is 10. So we're good. So we've got our 27. So we're going to, first step is factor. Second step is square root. So if I square root all this over here, that gets rid of the squared. Square root that. So we're left with x minus 5 equals plus or minus. And then 27, let's break down 27. 9 and 3, 3 and 3. So we have a pair of 3's with a single 3. So plus or minus 3 square root 3. Solve for x. So we need to take this minus 5 and add 5. Now if we go back, we remember that we can't add these two together, so we're going to leave it x equals 5 plus or minus 3 square root of 3. Leave it just like that. I'm going to do the same thing for D. This is currently factorable. 16 is 4 and 4. 4 times 4, or 4 plus 4 makes 8. So x plus 4 squared. So 1 times 4 is 4 times 2 is 8. Equals 49. Square root once again. So it's x plus 4 equals plus or minus. This time this has a perfect square root. Square root of 49 is 7. So now to solve for this, we're going to have to write two equations. So when this is a whole number, when right side is a whole number, so x plus 4 equals 7, and then x plus 4 equals negative 7. So we need to solve this here. So minus 4, x equals 3, or minus 4 again. X equals negative 11. Those are your two answers. So you're either going to have two answers, one with a plus and minus, so 5 plus 3 square root of 3, or 5 minus 3 square root of 3. We're going to have two separate complete numbers. Try these two on your own. That's 4x squared plus 11 equals 59, and x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals 28.